It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.
Welcome back to the Evan edition. I am your host, Evan Bernstein, and I am joined by the illustrious, the incomparable Roque from Roque Inc. How are you, my friend?
What's up, Evan? It's the Evan edition. Apparently, that's what the title song told me.
If
it's
you
the Evan
didn't
edition.
know from the video, now you know.
That's right.
How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Good to see you. And beautiful day. Good day to talk fun stuff today. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, you know, with another week down, and we are doing it on a Monday, you know, arguably the worst day of the work week. So hopefully this lightens people's mood a little bit and gets them to think about other things besides work and geek out. So I'm glad we could be here on a Monday, and we got some good stuff. We got, we're going to go over Peacemaker episode 7, the penultimate episode.
I just found out what penultimate meant.
I know. I was calling
not that long ago.
I used to call it penuptialant or something. Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it was more like sounded sexier than penultimate. We got the Avengers Doomsday trailer news that it may be dropping before the I was gonna say the Way of the Water, before Avatar 3. And then James Gunn is teasing 2 new movies that they're going to add to the slate and 1 new HBO TV series. We're going to continue our Goat or Nope segment. And then it seems like the Batman 2 writer is desperately wanting to get in touch with Sam Raimi about a Spider-Man 4. So we got some fun stuff. Why don't we just get right? Well, before we get into it, I just want to ask you, is there anything that you've watched recently that you would recommend to the audience?
Well, I don't know if I should mention it here, but
what does that mean?
Well, because I was catching up on Peacemaker. That's what it means. Because I get stressed out that I don't know what you guys are what you're talking about on a weekly basis. But
anything
I did watch.
Else, any movies or shows or anything that you're watching right now?
No, I'm watching the postseason of MLB right now. So I'm a little like, it's ironic because all my life, all my childhood, big nerd, comic books, you know, movies and all that kind of stuff, was never into sports at all. But then when I had my son and he got to that age of getting into sports, he's really into sports. And so I got hooked with that bug with him as he grew up. And so now I'm like, I'm not a huge sports head, but I get into it. And right now we're in the postseason of the the baseball season.
Are you a Dodgers fan or something?
No, don't even.
Because the Giants are definitely not in the postseason.
I know, but I'm interested. You know what's funny? It's like sports. You can compare sports to like great storytelling. It's like, you know, 100%. There's like main characters, there's villains, there's rivalries, there's like drama, there's you know, heartache. It's like ups and downs of that, and so it just hooks me in every time, even if my team is out of the running. So
yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, I was a diehard Oakland A's fan, and so now that they have moved and there's no teams in Oakland, professional sports teams at all, I could not care at all about baseball as a whole. So the Warriors we did the first preseason game was last night. So
nice.
And Erica, my wife, and I, we don't miss a game on TV. You know what I mean? Not going because it's so expensive, but no, we watch every single game during the regular season.
Nice.
On a random Wednesday, you know, in November when it's down to the line, we're standing up in our living room like, oh my God, you know, because I mean, when you have Steph Curry on your team, this is actually a Steph Curry t-shirt, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When you have a Steph Curry on your team,
He's like a superhero.
Yeah, it is like a superhero.
It's like watching a person with superpowers.
100%.
Yeah,
It's incredible and it's jaw dropping. I think is
every
the
time.
best way to describe it. So,
yeah.
but no, I've always been, growing up, I played sports, I collected comic books. I never was really like put in a box. I loved like all things kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's awesome that it's kind of full circle for you because I mean, you grew up in the Bay, so you grew up around really a lot of great historic teams, whether it's the A's, the Giants, the Niners, the Raiders, the Warriors. So you've had to been around it, but it's cool that like now you have a son that's getting you into it. And so that's a really cool full circle moment.
And I tell him too, I'm like, son, like, you don't know how good you have it. Like this is not normal. There's people that are like diehard, whatever,
right?
Cubs fans, or you know what I mean. Like they've never seen a championship ever. And when he was young, that's like when the dynasty was happening, right? So it's like the 2010, for the Giants.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is not normal. Or then right after that, it was like the Warriors, and then it's like this is not normal at all. So you just enjoy it.
These kids have no idea because
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But speaking of sports, no, I don't have a good segment.
How do you segue that?
But I did watch a really good movie. I saw The Lost Bus starring Matthew McConaughey on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, okay.
It is a really good movie.
That's a horrible title.
I highly recommend it. It's a true story about the Paradise Fires. And this, if you like the story of the unlikely hero doing something extraordinary in a terrible moment, this is the movie for you. Matthew McConaughey is fantastic in it. The pressures, the anxiety, the stress of the fire, especially when it has to do with saving children on a bus, not finding a way out. The day looks like it's nighttime because they're stuck in the midst of the fire when it actually takes place in the middle of the day. America Ferrera from Barbie fame is in it, as well as the teacher on the bus. Everyone does a really good job. It's also directed by Paul Greengrass of the Bourne Identity, movies. And so
is it all like handheld camera?
Kind of, but it is a fantastic movie. It's an edge of the seat kind of movie. It's unfortunate because when you watch it, you're like, wow, this should have been in theaters. But unfortunately, it's not in theaters, but it's a great time and I highly recommend it. So check out The Lost Bus. Really good.
So I'm curious, Evan, like you're kind of steeped in, pop culture and entertainment and everything. So where do you get, what catches your attention to watch something? So for me, it's like once I open up Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, it's like 1,000 different options and I get overwhelmed. So what makes something stand out like The Lost Bus? Why did that stand out for you to watch it? Because that's kind of buried deep a little bit in Apple TV.
Yeah, I mean, it just came out on Apple TV not too long ago. So, but yeah, I think, Matthew McConaughey is a fantastic actor and he took like a pretty long hiatus, like I think 6 or 7 years. And so
I haven't seen him in anything in a while.
I think the project that he chose to come back into the fold matters, it definitely spoke to him. On top of that, we live in California. We were around this when the Paradise Fires happened. I remember just like the ash in the air, like standing on BART, and it looked like it was like snowing. It was just a really horrible time in California history. And so I think it just hits really close to home. And then on top of that, I have a lot of friends who do what we do, who are around pop culture, who love movies. And so I've been hearing about it from friends that, they recommended it, that it was really good. And and then also, when we stay in on the weekends, it's nice to have a movie that would be in the theaters if it was 10 years ago. But we do live in this time where, straight to streaming movies happen more often than not. And so, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I always ask that question because not only as a consumer of media, but of somebody who creates it, you always wonder, like, how can you catch in this day and age with so much coming at people, right? Like
Yeah.
the constant feed of stuff.
I think in
How do you
these
stand out of
regards,
that?
we always have an eye on big name stars and directors.
Mhm.
Paul Greengrass is a fantastic director, and
Mhm.
so when a combination like a Paul Greengrass and a Matthew McConaughey are having a project, and Apple's involved, which is also putting out a lot of great movies recently, a lot of great content. I think those combinations excite movie fans, so I think
Sure.
that also is something that helps people gravitate towards the movie.
Nice. Cool. I'll have to check
Um,
it out.
On top of that, I have been actually doing a rewatch of an older TV series because my wife never saw it. It's called Orphan Black, starring Tatiana Maslany. It is a sci-fi show about clones where Tatiana plays multiple versions. And it is a fantastic show. We actually got through the first 2 seasons, which is like 10 episodes a season, in the first like 5 days of watching it.
Wow.
It is really good. My
It's
wife
got like Quantum Leap vibes, kind of a little bit,
a little
like different
bit.
timelines, different.
No timelines. They keep it, my wife isn't the biggest sci-fi person, and so if she's into it, that speaks a lot to the digestibility of the show. You know what I mean? When it comes to the headiness of it all, like if she's into it, that's a good barometer that most people can get into this without it being so convoluted to them. So I highly recommend it. It is a great watch. Tatiana is a tour de force in it, playing multiple characters that feel like their own person. Like she is incredible. She won a ton of awards when it was out. She won an Emmy Award, I remember, towards the end of the series. It's 5 seasons, so I highly recommend it.
Okay, awesome.
I'm trying to think if I've watched anything else. I'm gonna see the Smashing Machine tomorrow with The Roque and Emily Blunt.
Yeah. He's got that makeup right on his face, like a real facial makeup to make him look a little bit different. Yeah, that's the only thing that got my attention. I'm like, whoa, it's got prosthetics.
It looks really good, and I've been hearing a lot of good things. Unfortunately, it did not do well in the theaters, and if we have time, we're gonna get to that actually towards the end of the show. I have something if we have time. So
okay,
but let's get into it. We, as you guys know, Peacemaker is the new iteration from the DC universe, and James Gunn is the spearhead of these projects. And this seems to be his baby that transferred over from the old DC EU to the new DC universe. And he's kind of using this to set up Superman, the sequel. And those were his words. And so we are at the tail end of the series on HBO. And James Gunn is giving us some hints as to what we can expect in the finale, and also how this will set up the DCU moving forward. I know that you got to do a mass catch up with the series, and you got to watch the penultimate episode, Like a Keith in the Night. And we got to see Vigilante, meet his doppelganger, despite, the ridiculousness that ensued. Gunn was quick to say that the character isn't purely comedic in his eyes. As for the Earth X Vigilantes, costume being identical, the mannerisms being identical, the filmmaker did explain that there's so much alike, and those suits are really expensive, so they ended up having to just use one of the suits that they already had for the other, so they couldn't really switch it up too much. He also did confirm that DCU's Vigilante, and I do want to keep in mind, because we both got to the penultimate episode, because it is Monday and has been several days since Thursday, since the episode dropped, I do want to mention that we are going to talk about this in spoiler discussion. I am not a spoiler type person, and so I like giving a warning. Once the spoiler is down, then you can, unmute, turn back in. But I do want to let you know, we will be talking about this in spoiler review. You have been warned. That being said, Gunn also confirmed that the DCU's vigilante stabbing Augie Smith to death, but dismissed the notion of any silly switcheroos with characters trading places on their respective Earths. Gunn added, people keep asking if Chris can forgive Vigilante. I think Chris only blames himself for all of this. The Superman Helmer also was later quizzed about how he feels to see his wife, Jennifer Holland's Amelia Harcourt, intimate with John Cena's Peacemaker. And he said, I actually love this romantic scene. There's nothing actually intimate about it. He's referring to, I believe they're on the motorcycle, and it's finally the moment where Harcourt embraces Peacemaker and kind of holds him. And it's a really happy moment. And he said, they're being towed on the back of a truck. It's very technical. As a former actor, I know how dispassionate most of it is. So he kind of put that to rest. But
isn't there I thought there was a scene too where she woke up, they were in bed together too. Maybe I think that's more intimate than her holding onto him in a motorcycle.
Which scene is that? I mean, you
it was the
it
was the
3
alternate
through 7 in a
oh yeah, it was the alternate Harcourt. Oh, maybe it was another. Maybe it wasn't 7.
Oh, yeah. It was the Earth X. Yeah. I mean, waking up is not in the midst of doing the dirty deed. You know what I mean?
Right. So, sure.
But
neither was riding a motorcycle.
I just want to ask you, because you did do like a deep dive from episode 3 through episode 7. I just want to ask you specifically though about episode 7. What is your overall feelings of the episode? Do you also think it did a good enough job to set up the finale of the show and subsequently the future of the DCU, as James Gunn keeps repeating?
I mean, yeah. I mean, so when I wanted to try and catch up on Peacemaker so that I could be up to date, especially with talking with you. I was a little like, oh, okay, because those first two episodes in particular was, and I think we were texting back and forth about it. It was a little too like hard R, hammer on the head for me. And I get it. Like, how I would change it, I don't know, but it was just a bit too much, at least for my own personal taste. So the idea of watching 4 more episodes of that was like, and that's kind of
exhausting.
Yeah, kind of why my interest in the series waned. Okay, but I guess it was from episode 4 on, I felt like it like settled into the rhythm and kind of the tone of what makes the show good. And I got hooked, so I long story short, at the end of episode 7, I was like, okay, I can't wait to see the finale of this series. I thought it was really good. I think it left on a great ending or cliffhanger, if you will, at the end of episode 7 of setting us up of like, how are they going to wrap this up? What's going to happen to all these characters? And it was really dramatic, like I think that was probably, as we've seen John Cena's cred increase every episode, his acting chops. Episode 7, I think, was his best episode of like it was just everything he was wrestling with internally was played out in front of his eyes. And he really had to come to grips with so much of his own actions and where his character was, even all the way from the first season,
right
up to facing the reality of
even from the first Suicide Squad movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've been hammering that home, like of the death of Flag Jr.
Right.
Like that, they've just been hanging that over his head, and that's been a main plot point. And so, yeah, I think that was great. Even when he was that whole scene where that Dad Flag Senior was like wailing. Well, I don't know. Was that episode 7? So sorry, these are all
No, that
blending
was
together.
before. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
was
When
it?
he does the knee into the face.
Oh
like,
my gosh. It was like it got replaced with like a dummy or something, I hope, because it
was
looked so
terrible.
brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was really bad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You know, I think John Cena's acting prowess has taken another level in the scene where his brother is basically getting killed in front of him by arguably his real family that love him the most.
Yeah.
It is such a jarring scene, and he's sitting back kind of seeing it all happen, and then he lets out this scream that is so like guttural and like weird that it's
Primal.
like, yeah, it's so primal that it was just such a beautiful thing to see how far John Cena has come as an actor. And then when he's like, get off of him, and he's like, what are we doing? Like, what have we become? You know, like, what are we?
Yeah.
It was, I forgot the exact words, but it was like, wow. Like,
And I like how they tied that into him as a kid watching from the original timeline or universe or whatever.
Yeah, I
watching
mean,
his brother die.
Yeah, I mean, it's another way of him losing his brother. So it harkens back to him killing his own brother when they were little kids in his universe, to now his loved ones killing his brother in front of him in this alternate universe. And it was a very like juxtaposition of the two situations coming to a head, and it was such beautiful writing and storytelling. And
but I think the thing I liked about it too is it made sense, right? Like his brother, when I saw this playing out in that that final climax of his brother like not like coming to this realization of he's not going to let this go. He's going to come after them. Like it made sense for that character that his brother felt betrayed or like, you know, shocked, and that he was not going to stop. He wasn't going to let it go. And you knew, oh my gosh, this is going to end badly. You know, and it was great, not just for Peacemaker or Chris, but it was for his brother too. His brother's character arc was really great to see, and that actor, he played it really well. Like, yeah,
he did a really good job
trying to understand, wait, what's going on? This is not my real brother. What did you do? Wait, oh my gosh, I'm being betrayed. And just like, what are you doing? I'm gonna kill you. Like getting so angry. I was like, wow, it was really great.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Denman is his last name from The Office fame, you know, and he even said, you know, when he got the call from James Gunn, it added like 5 to 10 years onto his life. He was like, I was done acting. Like, he's like, when I got that call, it was like really special to him. And so I think he took full advantage of the opportunity, and in his eyes and the way he acted in these scenes, you could really tell like the hurt. And it was just so beautiful to see. And
the hurt.
I think James Gunn it just speaks to how well he casts. It's not just one of his longtime friends, because, you know, he was married to Pam from The Office. It's not just his wife as Hardcore. It's the right actors for the role. And you can really tell in these moments that they embody the character more than anyone else that we can imagine could. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to see. And so as a director, from James Gunn's point of view, to see his friends fully giving it their all and really showing that like he chose the right actors for the right role, I feel like it's so gratifying to him that like this is the moments that I was waiting for these actors to really embody these characters. And he even mentioned it in the previous episode when Hardcore is talking to Peacemaker and she says, I am fucked up. And he says, I don't care. I still love you. And James Gunn is still talking about that moment, saying like, I think that's the best acting my wife has ever done and John Cena has ever done. And it makes me so proud as a director to witness it. And he's like posting it on his Instagram, like as a proud dad. And it's like, it's just a really beautiful thing to see, like, wow, like what a family this cast has become. And I think that's why it also feels so lived in and so real is because they make it seem so natural as these characters, and the writing makes it feel so earned in these moments.
Yeah.
On top of that, Robert Patrick, our T-1000, his acting cannot go unnoticed as well. Him playing Augie, Peacemaker's dad, and in his final moments, you kind of get this glimpse that he is not the bad neo-Nazi guy that we assumed he was based on the universe that he lives in. But he says, if you can fight, all the injustices, and that's great for you, but I need to fight the monsters and demons that are put in front of me. And that's what all I can do in my situation that I'm in. And the way he delivered that, it was like, it gives me chills because it was so beautiful and it was so well delivered. And I think Robert Patrick, goes unnoticed as a great actor because he's in these very niche, Terminator and other things. And so I think we forget how good he is and how long he's been in the game. And I can't speak highly enough about how much he crushes it in Peacemaker.
Well, I think in season 1, his character was the worst of the worst, right? It's like Nazi,
bad guy. Yeah.
And I was not expecting that last speech in episode 7 at all from him. I thought, whatever, they would just escape the world and that's at the end, right? But for him to have that moment, it almost made me pause of is this real, or is he gonna because he's a bad guy, right? He's a Nazi, but
is he messing with them?
Yeah,
and then it was
is he gonna betray them at the end because he was the one who was instigating, tying up what's his name, the computer dude, tying him up, Economos, yeah, and he was kind of setting that all up. So I was like, he's still not a good dude. It doesn't matter what world he's in. He's still not, a positive character. And then they gave him that little moment, and I was like, "Is this real? Is this really happening?"
Do you think it was our vigilante that jumped through the window and stabbed him, or was it that world's vigilante? Because it wasn't really clear to me in the moment. I did just watch it on Thursday. I know you watched it a little bit after that.
Yeah, Friday.
What do you
I'm assuming,
what do you see it as?
I can see them doing a little switcheroo, like the wrong vigilante went through,
even though he said there's no switcheroo.
Well, but I think it's their vigilante state, like the right vigilantes in the right world, I think. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, they could easily switch it on us, and in that character, vigilante is such a unpredictable character. And like you mentioned at the top of the show, seeing them meet each other was so funny. That actor's amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing character.
He was like, "Oh my god!" And they're the same person. Yeah. In every universe, they're just the same.
Exactly.
And he also hates Nazis too. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I hate Peacemaker."
Yeah.
He's
like, "Oh, he's my best friend."
Yeah, something that was really beautiful too was when Augie is giving that speech. James Gunn was saying I don't think it's subtle Nazi defiance. I think it is Nazi defiance. Augie's speech is important not only because it reveals who Augie is, but also it speaks to Harcourt and Economos, who have truly spent a lot of their lives as cogs in a corrupt system, rarely fighting it. Augie is not a saint, but I think he taught his kids to subtly fight the system. So he's really disappointed by many of their actions. And Gunn says, I also think Earth X's Chris was a very bad guy. And so I really think in those moments, he's seeing this Chris, this Peacemaker, just want to be with a family, a truly loving person. And he tells his son, dude, how our Chris was, he had a lot of issues. He was messed up in the head. He wasn't a good person. Yeah. Come on, and I think in that moment, seeing the juxtaposition of this Chris compared to his actual son also showed him oh, my son was truly a messed up individual, because this guy, he is just hunting for love and for a family and to be accepted. My Chris couldn't care about anything other than himself and torturing the innocent. And I think it really showed Augie, this is really what I wish my Chris would have been. And that's why I really think in those moments he was like, I am going to let him go, because that's what my Chris would not have done. And I did not teach you guys to be like that. And
It's
even when he's like to his son, when the son's like, oh yeah, I chased her down, like the black woman. He's like, why would you do that? I taught you different,
Yeah.
He was like shocked even about that. I'm like, oh, maybe he's not like the neo-Nazi we thought,
It's kind of messed up though, because if you think about it, the reason why I'm just going to say our version of Peacemaker, the current, the now version of Peacemaker, Earth One's version of Peacemaker is searching for a family is because he didn't have one, right?
100%.
And then in the Earth X, that Peacemaker is a jerk, horrible, but he had a family. His brother was there, his dad was there. Apparently his dad was not the neo-Nazi that, he was maybe,
right. But he had the love.
Yeah, he had the love, and then he turned into this jerk. So what kind of message is that? It's like, oh, you need a broken family to be a good person to find a real family. And if you have a good family, then you're going to turn into a broken person.
I think that's a good thing to point out, because I think it shows that no matter what, if you have the components of the happy family, the loving family, the friends, if you aren't at peace with yourself inside, then none of that other stuff is going to matter.
Yeah.
And it's I really think James Gunn's writing in this show specifically was very smart, and it showed that in a really great way.
Well, it's paralleled to his writing on Superman too, right? It's this like nurture versus nature, right? You can have Superman can have the family from Krypton, but it's really the choices he makes, who he is on the inside,
right,
that made him Superman, right? That's the message, the ongoing theme of that. And it's very similar in Peacemaker. He's kind of saying a very similar way, but from a different angle of, like you said, it's not about your environment. It's not about necessarily your biological family. It's about who you are as a person and the choices you make as a person. And yes, that can be affected by your external events, but at the end of the day, it's who you are, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a great message. And I think you're right. It is rippling through the DCU. And I think that's a great message to ripple through. And I'm very excited to see how this story ends. As it was reported late last week, the final episode will be 57 minutes. So we will get a good conclusion, I think, and also an idea of what Man of Tomorrow will look like and what the DCU will look like moving forward. If it's going to close off this multiverse component of the universe, or if it's going to open it up and be a big indicator of the big event that we're leading to at some point. So I cannot wait to see it. Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. HBO sponsor us. All right, guys. With that down, I wanted to get into this. So, as you guys know, next December, we have a huge Avengers Doomsday movie coming out. And we've gotten a lot of teases about it. We've gotten a 6-hour chair watch that announced some of the cast, but there's still secrets. And we got a date.
6 hours we'll never get back in our lives.
And we got a date that moved from May to December, a 6-month move that was really big, but probably needed to make the story even better. And because of the move, we were wondering, when are we going to get a trailer? And some people have hinted, that it could be before Avatar, which is going to be a $1 billion movie again. And it kind of made sense. But then people were wondering, is that too soon? Because they did move the date. Well, it seems like reports may be right that we are getting it during that date. This comes to us from comicbook.com. They say Avengers Doomsday is a critical project for Marvel Studios as it looks to end the uneven multiverse saga on a high note. A case can be made that this is perhaps the most ambitious movie in the MCU because directors Joe and Anthony Russo have assembled a stacked ensemble that featured 27 actors portraying some of the most notable characters in Marvel lore. Multiple superhero teams will be featured as the conflict against Doctor Doom begins, including the surprise addition of several X-Men characters played by previous Fox films. Fans are very curious to see how the Russos balance all of these moving parts, and they may get some idea in the near future. As we know, Avengers Doomsday has wrapped production, but one of the biggest questions is when the footage will be released. According to Daniel Richtman, a first look at Doomsday will be attached to screenings of James Cameron's Avatar Fire and Ash, which opens in theaters on December 19th. Avengers Doomsday doesn't premiere until December 2026. With that release date so far away, it seems a bit early to unveil a teaser trailer this holiday season, but it could be the best move for Marvel, helping set the stage and tone for what will be a vital year in the MCU's history. The franchise is not the pop culture juggernaut it was during its heyday in the 2010s, as we see a lot of projects like Thunderbolts, Captain America Brave New World, and the Fantastic Four First Steps did not live up to the heights of the heyday thus mentioned. I want to ask you, if we do get this teaser trailer, what are you hoping from a first teaser trailer that is premiering a year away from the movie?
I think it's gonna be a little bit of old, so they'll show like characters we know and love. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a little bit of new. They've got to show something X-Men in it, because people have been waiting for that for decades now to see it merged into Marvel, world and done right. And then it's got to show Doom. It's got to show Dr. Doom, like something, maybe not his full reveal, but something, face half in shadow, or we got to hear his voice or something. You know what I mean?
More than what Fantastic Four did, at least, right? Because Fantastic Four showed it.
I didn't watch Fantastic
Oh
Four.
my god, dude.
Good night, folks. Good night, folks.
There's the end credit scene, and you can see this on YouTube and stuff. It's all over the place. But the end credit scene is it takes place 4 years after the events of the movie.
Okay.
And it's just, Franklin playing in the nursery, and oh my goodness, I can't. Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Girl, Sue, goes to get something, and when she comes back, she gets this like eerie feeling, and then she walks into the room. Doom is sitting there. You see the back of him with the hood and stuff. I guess this is per what Matt Shackman said. This is Robert Downey in the suit.
Oh, okay.
And Franklin is looking up at him, like almost like touching his face. And then it goes to black.
Okay.
And that's the only tease. So
then we got to hear him say something, I think.
If you do another tease, right? I think you need to give a little bit more. I think you need to hear a voice or something. Mm-hmm. What I think would be really cool if they do show a trailer before Avatar for Avengers Doomsday, it should be a black screen. And then we hear and that's it. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be so sick. No, but they did already use that theme song.
The music hit.
They did use that music, I told you, in Miss Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think you're right. I do think if you do a trailer for Avengers Doomsday this far out, a year out in December, it needs to be something that really is talked about and goes viral, because you have a year to set the stage for something that a lot of people besides us nerds and movie fans are not too excited about. We didn't see the numbers with Fantastic Four or Thunderbolts or, Captain America. And so I really think if you're going to tease it this far out, you really need to set the stage to get people super excited, whether that's the voice, whether that's using Downey, you're paying him enough, you probably should use him. That's how you get people in the seats, and it starts in December. So that's what I think.
That's crazy. Yeah. But I think, before Avatar is probably a smart move. That's like a huge blockbuster.
Yeah.
James Cameron, he's moneymaker, Mr. $1 billion. How many franchises has he
Too many.
established $1 billion movies? So that's your best bet of being a vehicle to show.
Yeah. No,
to
I
get
think
people excited.
I think it's a great opportunity, and I think you should start now. I mean, we already saw them start with Spider-Man and having the on-set photos, and everyone's talking about it. Everyone's getting really excited. So it's you don't need to do the work for Spider-Man. You need to do the work for Doomsday because you switched up plans. You pigeonholed it a new villain when you got rid of Kang. And now it's time to do as much setting up as you can within a year to really get people excited and to get butts in the seats. And so this teaser trailer, a lot of pressure is on it to really succeed right away. Everything they put out has a lot of pressure on it at this point.
I feel like, as we're talking about it, I feel like doing something X-Men that hits right on could do it, because that has been tried and done and ended up in such a mess at the end of all those X-Men movies. The last, X-Men movies, it was really kind of a mess. And I know me as a diehard X-Men fan, it's you want it to be given its just due, like the Avengers were, and those kind of critical Marvel things are doing.
I do think coming hot. My computer just went asleep. I do think. Did you see me though? Did you see
you're
me?
fine. Yeah, okay. I didn't see anything.
I do think coming hot off of Deadpool and Wolverine lends really well to the setup of X-Men, because of that world. It was a love letter to the Fox characters, having even going as far as Elektra, bringing in Gambit, all these characters. So you do have a lot of good fortune from that movie doing so well. So I think leaning into that to sell Avengers Doomsday is a good decision that I think would go very far in selling this movie. So I think if you don't use that $1 billion film that has a ton of X-Men in it, then it is a very missed opportunity.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you have to add that in.
I always like the other one from the canceled Pride of X-Men.
Pride of X-Men.
Yeah, I love X-Men, leading the way.
So good.
Okay, let us know what you guys think. Do you think that this is true? We are going to get a teaser that premieres in December before Avatar. And if so, what do you want to see from this trailer or from this teaser trailer that's going to get butts in the seats? Let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, I wanted to get into this. So it is being reported, and I've just buried the lead right here. James Gunn is going to announce 2 new movies to add to the DCU slate and a new HBO TV series that has not been previously announced. This comes to us from Screen Rant. They say the DC Universe lineup is close to adding more titles from DC Studios. As James Gunn shares a new exciting update, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, has only just begun, with Gunn and his co-CEO Peter Safran bringing a new era of DC content across the big screens. Following the success of the Superman movie, several more films are currently in various stages of development that were initially revealed in January 2023. However, new additions like Clayface, which came after the initial slate was unveiled, continue to be explored at DC Studios and is filming currently. In a new interview with GQ, Gunn was asked if he could share any new updates about his new interconnected universe and tease anything new that he hasn't already discussed. As he's getting ready for Man of Tomorrow, the Superman sequel, the CEO teased 2 future movies and an untitled TV show close to being greenlit. James Gunn said, right now, there's actually 2 really cool film scripts that I'm hoping to take to the next level that we have general plans for, and I'm excited about both of these. And then I'm excited about one TV project in particular. I don't know why we're not greenlit it on that already. It's just figuring out the budget. So there's a couple of things that are very present that I'm excited about, dealing with getting Supergirl into shape and all these other things. Watching episodes of Lanterns, that's coming along well. So it's really just dealing a little bit with everything, and then mostly Man of Tomorrow. That's the biggest thing for me. I mean, we go into production in April, so it may seem like far away to you, but to me, it seems awfully close. The DCU is currently focused on Peacemaker Season 2, finishing up with its finale coming out this Thursday, while the Supergirl movie is slated for June 2026. The Lantern TV show will premiere sometime next year on HBO, as an exact launch date has yet to be announced. So what does this mean for the DCU, and what could these projects be? Just hearing these words from James Gunn and seeing where we're at currently, already having the sequel to Superman announced, already in the finale of Peacemaker, Supergirl coming out in summer, Lanterns probably coming out in fall. What do you think, just from hearing all this, that the 2 projects for the movies could be, and what could the TV show be? And then on top of that, if you don't have anything in mind, what would you want them to be?
I mean, that's a tough one because always, I guess, the way you compare movies to TV, like there's more weight to a film coming around. So you think of the big, at least in DC, like the trinity of DC characters. So it's like, yeah, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, right? But James Gunn has
Gunn, baby.
that's gonna be his new name, James Gunn. He has been known all the way back to Guardians of the Galaxy of taking B tier, C tier characters and kind of elevating them to make them a lot more interesting. And I think that,
but he did say no more obscure characters.
it's true, but what is his definition of an obscure character, right? So like, but I feel like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman have been so done. Mostly Batman and Superman in the films. I can't imagine him reinventing them again, again. So I think part of what, like when he was talking about these extra projects, I don't know if it would be a film or TV series, but like I was thinking of characters like Booster Gold, might be one that I could see James Gunn doing something amazing with. He already used Metamorpho in the Superman movie. I can see him trying to like build that out more, like this weird, quirky kind of alien character. Martian Manhunter maybe, or they could even go the route of like what MCU did with Daredevil and like do a Green Arrow. Green Arrow is one that has not, I mean, they did Arrow in the CW or whatever.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know. I see that as like the teeny version of it. You know what I mean? Like I can see Green Arrow being a lot more. Yeah. He's always been an interesting character to me. I never got into Arrow.
Batman for TV, for HBO.
Yeah, totally. Like Daredevil. Daredevil. It kind of has that feel, like the in the city, can do it on a TV budget. I could even see James Gunn doing something crazy like
you have felt this city.
Right. I don't know. There's a lot of weird characters in the DC that I can see James Gunn doing what? Like Zatanna? How crazy would it be? Like some weird magician?
For the movies, though, you think Blue Beetle could be one. What's your other one?
I don't know.
Do you think it's Wonder Woman or Batman?
I didn't say Blue Beetle, but I said Booster Gold.
Sorry. Yeah. Booster Gold could be one.
Batman is already like there's a lot of hands in the Batman world, right?
Right.
Even though it's like separate, supposedly separate with Matt Reeves
Okay.
and the Robert Pattinson thing, right? Isn't that separate from what James
It
Gunn is
is.
doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But to come out with another like big tentpole Batman movie would go counter to what I'm thinking as far as
Okay.
helping their world, helping them build DC out. So I don't think it's a Batman thing. Wonder Woman, that's a tough one. I don't even know all the politics that have gone on with Wonder Woman, because that first movie was the best DC movie in my opinion of the last 20 years. I thought it was great. I loved Wonder Woman and I thought it was a great direction. The second one was one of the worst. But
it was terrible.
But I think like to reinvent Wonder Woman again, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not sure.
I think this. So James Gunn is going to announce
Swamp Thing.
two. I mean, maybe. I mean, there was the what's his name? James Mangold was supposed to do it. So and we haven't heard anything from that. But what I really think that James Gunn is going to announce 2 new movies and 1 TV show.
Mm-hmm.
When you are setting up the DCU, it is a disservice to DC not to use Batman or Wonder Woman. These are your trinity. These are your biggest heroes, and you need to rely on them. When it came to the MCU, when the Marvel Studios started, they didn't have these big characters run. They didn't have Spider-Man. They didn't have all these. They had these B-list actors. Iron Man was not an A-list character by any means.
Mm-hmm.
DC has the A-list characters, and so I think it's time to start relying on them. That being said, I don't think it's going to happen all at once. I think these 2 new movies that he's going to announce, one is a Titans movie. We have heard for a long time that Titans is in the works, that the same writer of Supergirl is actually also writing a Titans movie. I think they might have made some good headway in writing that, and something that James Gunn is happy with. So I think it could be a Titans movie.
Did you ever watch the series?
Yes, I have.
How is it?
It was okay. Yeah.
A glowing recommendation.
It was okay. I mean, the first 2 seasons were pretty good.
Okay.
And the cast was really good.
I love the comic. The Teen Titans comic was amazing.
I bet a lot of people love it, and I think there's a lot of great story that you could do there that would be really, really beneficial to a film movie. I don't want to see Titans go to a TV show again. I think it's already done that. I think it deserves a big screen. So, but my one would be a Titans movie, and then my other one would be a Wonder Woman movie. I think Wonder Woman fell flat on its face in the second movie. I think it's time to get a new face in there right away. And I think they were already developing a Paradise Lost, kind of Themyscira TV series. And so I don't know if that's gone away, but I think either way, a TV show can set up the movie, or the movie can set up the TV show. I think there's a lot of benefits to using the Amazonians to be a big part of the overall DCU. And so I think that it could be a Wonder Woman movie as well. For the TV show that James Gunn is teasing, I think that it is going to be The Authority. I think they tried doing a movie. We've talked about them writing it. James Gunn has mentioned it, and I think he's mentioned that it's changed a lot. And so I really think that The Authority could become a TV series, kind of in the vein of like The Watchmen, and be like a really cool, like HBO darker superhero anti-hero TV series. And I think that would be really cool. So I think The Authority could be the show that he's going to announce.
I mean, the character, gosh, I forgot her character name.
The engineer.
Yes, thank you. I mean, she is part of The Authority, so at least, there's that tie-in of like you could spin off. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Like that? Yeah, I do. I think that's good. I need to go back and read The Authority. so
Same.
that I can get a bit bigger, because being integrated into the DC universe, it doesn't have the history that these original characters do. They kind of
Definitely.
adopted it and like
Yeah.
tied it into everything. But
You were
yeah.
merely adopted by the light. I was born in it.
Nice.
Uh,
So yeah, I'd have to go back and read it, but I know it was a good series. And like you said, it has that anti-hero vibe to it.
yeah. Yeah,
That could
yeah,
be interesting.
definitely. I think that'd be really cool, and I think it would kind of lend itself to the landscape of what the DC universe on HBO could look like, coming in with a, Green Lantern, space, True Detective type TV series, then having a more, maybe not Guardians, maybe a little bit darker, but something that's a little bit more anti-hero, team up, found family that you meet, go on this adventure, continues to build out part of the DC universe. So I think that might work as well. So other than that,
Justice Gang,
not yet. You can't have
Misadventures.
Yeah, I think they're too big to have
Yeah.
on there. I don't think so. So, but other than that, I could see
Mr. Terrific. There's been a lot of like
Blue
hype
Beetle is
around.
coming back. We did hear, so I do think that a Blue Beetle animated series was in the works, and so that could just be what they're going to announce, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool, like another animated series. But if it is a Mr. Terrific series, that would be a great announcement. Mr. Terrific is arguably one of the standout characters of the Superman movie.
Yeah.
And he did mention that he is a beloved character to James Gunn. And so I really think that we could see a Mr. Terrific series in the future. I don't know if this will be the announcement, but if it is, I would be very happy. And I think it would please a lot of fans.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely has that hype around him now.
Yes.
That like Boba Fett hype, like the cool character on the side that was like,
Boba
whoa,
Fett.
this guy is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the show was ass.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Poor Boba Fett. He deserved more.
Too late.
I saw this figure of him like on the throne. I'm like, that's sick, but the show was terrible. So I'm not getting that. I did just get this new Iron Man though. Do you see this? And this arc reactor too.
Oh wow. Is that just on all the time in your room? You just
No,
turn it on
dude,
all the time?
I have really bad anxiety, so I don't want anything plugged in. Like, no, I just put that on for the show.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, he made that, I guess. The person that sold me it, he made the arc reactor. Yeah.
Like the one for the movie?
No, the one that is on my shelf.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's not a licensed product. It was like somebody. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
No, the
That's
Iron
really
Man
cool.
is the arc reactor he threw in there, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. What do you think James Gunn could be teasing for the 2 movies and the TV show? And then what would you want to see? Do you want to see a Blue Beetle animated, Mr. Terrific, a Green Arrow TV series in the vein of Daredevil? Do you want to see a Static Shock movie? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, please.
That would be cool. No, I'm going with Booster Gold. Booster Gold is the
That'd be sick.
craziest character.
All right, guys. With that down, as promised, we have our new segment, Goat or Nope. So let's get into it. This is Goat.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Or Nope. For those of you that have not seen Goat or Nope, this is where I will put 2 pictures up. And even if we think there is a GOAT outside of these 2 pictures, of these 2, we will have to choose which we think is the GOAT of these 2 and why. First up is this.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready? I'm going to ease you into this.
I'm ready.
All right. Goat or Nope? Which is the Goat or Nope movie of Captain America? Civil War or The Winter Soldier?
Oh my gosh.
Da-da-da-da.
Ugh.
It's a hard one, right?
That is a hard one.
You can also explain why is it hard? Why is this so hard for you? Because in your eyes, do you see these, I'm assuming, as very, very good movies, arguably
two of
some
the top.
of the best.
Yeah. Two of the top.
Right.
I would say so. Winter Soldier was that moment for me where the Russo brothers came in and said, this is what we're thinking for the MCU, like as directors.
Right.
And just the tone of it, the way the characters were, the seriousness behind it, that just blew my mind. And I think Civil War was more of that, it just kind of rode the wave of Winter Soldier. Both really fantastic Marvel movies for me, some of the best. I think I'm gonna go with
Oh, this is hard. Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Civil War.
Why is that?
I'm gonna go with Civil War because the conflict, it was so relatable, the conflict, the two sides that were portrayed.
Definitely.
Captain America's reasoning for making the choice he did, and Tony Stark's reasoning for making the choice he did. And I feel like during that whole movie, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I would pick Cap's side.
Yeah.
And then I'd flip and I'd be like, Tony Stark, he's got a point,
Right.
And then at the very end, with those two guys like literally duking it out, like in the comics,
Gut-wrenching.
was insane. That last fight and how hard they were fighting each other, like not pulling any punches, was so good. And just really hard to watch because I love the characters both so much. Mm-hmm. And also there was not a clear winner. You know what I mean? It's like, and I kind of like that. It's like life is like that, at least for me. When you come from this world of like superheroes, there's a good guy and a bad guy, and the good guy always wins. And Civil War is very clearly like,
we all lose.
We all lose. Yeah.
When heroes fight each other, we all lose.
Yeah.
I mean, not the audience, because it's like really awesome. But
yes.
Yeah. No, this was hard for me too. And I love these movies. These are top MCU films and obviously top Captain America films. And when Winter Soldier came out, this was proof that these movies could go beyond comic book movies, that this could be a political thriller, that it doesn't have to just be a comic book genre, that it could be in the vein of other movie genres and be a comic book movie at the same time. And that was something that changed the course of the MCU for the better for many, many years. So it was a very important film to the saga of the MCU. No one can argue that. However, when you do Civil War and you have heroes going against each other for a reason that makes sense, and that is key, because you could have a Batman versus Superman and you could have them become friends because their moms are named Martha.
I know. Is your mom named Martha?
But it doesn't make sense to the plot and while they're fighting. In the story that unfolded in Civil War, it made it very hard to choose sides because both sides made so much sense.
Yeah.
And that was so compelling to the story. On top of that, when you're doing so much in a movie already with so many characters, and then you add a huge character that we've never seen, like Spider-Man and Black Panther, and it's done so seamlessly and doesn't take away from the overall story, that is really what makes Captain America Civil War my GOAT out of these two movies and why it is such a special film.
Yeah. It's like even with the secondary characters, it made sense that why they took the sides they did.
It did. It did. And
amazing.
everything led
up
to...
And they were conflicted too. They were conflicted, It was great.
Yeah, I mean, Black Widow being in the middle of these two and kind of switching sides in the beginning. Spoiler alert, 10 years later. It's kind of switching sides in the beginning or sorry, in the middle of it, none of these people felt good about going against people that they fought with against even bigger threats. And on top of that, this movie set up Infinity War. Without Civil War, I don't think Infinity War would have worked as well, with these fractions and these teams being divided, with Captain America and his crew on one side and Iron Man and his crew on the other, and really not being able to come together to defeat this big threat really lent well to the story of Infinity War. So I think even that alone, with Civil War being able to do so much in its own movie, but also set up what's going to happen in Infinity War Avengers, that alone makes this such an important film as well to the tapestry of the MCU, and why this is such an amazing movie. When my dad saw this movie, he hated it. He hated it
Which one?
because when my dad saw Civil War, he hated this movie because it was very hard for him to see heroes fighting against each other. He didn't hate it because it was a bad movie. He hated it because I don't like them fighting each other, because it was so jarring to see such great heroes, such established characters going against each other. It was hard to watch. And that is also what makes this movie so beautiful. My dad is like, I hate this movie. I don't want to choose a side. That means
that's
worked.
The whole thing. Yeah. That's why it's Civil War. That's it. Like, it's not like, it's not so clean cut.
No.
Why are they fighting? Why is it a civil war where you're it's easy to fight the like unknown enemy, the alien,
or the big bad, who's
the alien hordes,
evil.
The bad alien hordes that are trying to take over Earth. It's another thing to like fight against your own teammate, your own countrymen, and stand for that. Yeah.
All right,
there we go. Civil War took it.
With that down, what about this?
Oh no.
Which is the better casting? Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, or Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool with his pants down?
Wow. Better casting.
Why? Tell me first.
Why am I struggling with this?
Why is this hard for you? Why is this a struggle?
I feel like, okay, so the way that I see it, I think Ryan Reynolds was like perfect for Deadpool. The combination of humor and dark wit and like just like kind of a self-inflicting, self-deprecating kind of person.
Yes.
Perfect for Deadpool. And I think that's been consistent over the 3 movies that he's appeared in. And every time he's made an appearance, it's a consistent thing.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman has gone through many different iterations of Wolverine and has kind of morphed and, adapted to it and still stayed Wolverine in all those. And I think he's got a longer runway with who he made Wolverine. And he really kind of crafted his own Wolverine in the movies, like defined a different Wolverine that was different from the comics, but still the same. And he's been a guest star in some movies. He's been the lead, and so he's really had to run the gamut of quite more than what
That's a good point.
Ryan Reynolds has. Ryan Reynolds just kept doing the same thing for the 3 movies, and it's great. But
Fantastic.
I think Wolverine, he's had to play Old Man Logan. He's had to play all the different iterations of Wolverine.
Japanese Logan, and horrible X-Men Origins Logan,
correct,
and Logan,
and so I think I think the one thing about Wolverine, and they made fun of this in the Deadpool movie, was Hugh Jackman is a towering 6'2" or something like that, and Wolverine's always been like this short dude in the comics, and so that's he's like a dominating presence in the movies because of his stature. And Wolverine, kind of the cool thing about him and the reason why he's a Wolverine is he's like a little dude with just like a ferocity. Yeah. And so I don't know if Hugh Jackman ever captured that, just because he can't. He's just a big guy and he can't really be the like tiny little honey badger that the Wolverine in the comics is. So, but who is the goat?
The goat casting.
Goat casting. They're both really good. I think that I could never see another. Well, let's see. That's tough. Dang, that's tough. I'm going to go against my gut and say Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds. Like, I can't see Deadpool separate from him. Could I see another actor take Wolverine and like give us another aspect of Wolverine? Maybe. I think Hugh Jackman's great. I think he did the legacy proud. Awesome. Stand up applause for him for all that he's done for Wolverine. But I could see them like if they reset the whole thing and cast another actor as Wolverine, I could see like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting why they did that. If they did that with Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. I'd be like, it's not. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Like, there's no question. That's what I vote. That's my vote.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think some would argue that they couldn't see anyone else playing Wolverine. You know what I mean? Because how long he's played it for. I mean, he's played it for 25 years. That's insane. So
that's insane.
It's going to be hard for some, not all people, to see another actor play Wolverine.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they had a hard time getting Deadpool off the ground and getting Deadpool right. He was introduced in X-Men Origins. Ryan Reynolds was playing the character and they got the character completely wrong. You know what I mean? And so from the comics to the screen, I think Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is straight ripped from the comics. Like, exactly what you get from the comics is exactly what you get on the big screen with Ryan Reynolds. When it comes to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, he has really made this character his own. So much so that people will always automatically associate Wolverine with Hugh Jackman, a 6'2" jacked man, which is not necessarily what we get in the comics. It might look a little bit more like that in the comics based on Hugh Jackman being this character for a quarter century, but that isn't the Wolverine that we grew up with from the comics.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a very fine difference between the two. When it comes to casting, that means you're casting what you have seen from the comics and from the literature and what's come before and put that exactly on screen. And so because it is the GOAT casting, not the GOAT like character, which one do you love more, Wolverine or Deadpool? Because it is the GOAT casting, I believe I do have to go with Deadpool as well. Because Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, it's probably one of the most GOAT castings of a comic book character to a big screen character that we've ever seen.
It's like Patrick Stewart as Professor X. It's like,
yes, it's arguably in the top 5 to 10 of best castings of all time. And I honestly, regardless of if I could see another character in it, whatever that is, I really think this is the perfect representation of Deadpool. So I do also have to go with
all right.
Ryan Reynolds.
Nice.
All right. Now on to the next one. My friend Rocky is a big theatrical movie musical person.
Oh gosh.
I'm hoping that you've seen both of these because I didn't ask you because I didn't want to spoil it. But I want to ask you, which is the GOAT musical movie of these two? Grease or The Greatest Showman? Have you seen both of these?
I have.
Do you enjoy both of these?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. That's all I need to know. Because if it was like obvious, that would be very hard. You're like, oh, I didn't even like British,
No.
But for me personally, who is also a big musical person, I love these musical movies.
Yeah.
I think they are fantastic. And I think the music drives the story, which is one of the best parts about musical movies, is when the music matters. And I feel like in these movies, the music matters to the narrative of the story very, very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, so this is tough for me. These are all tough. I guess that would make, that's why it makes it interesting. Because Grease was born and has a stage version, right, that the movie was based off of. But The Greatest Showman does not. The Greatest Showman just exists on celluloid.
Right.
So that's the only existence that we know of The Greatest Showman is the film version.
It will be on stage, though. It will be.
Are they working on something?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
This is the greatest show.
So
this is musical movie, though. You're right. There is a difference.
There's a difference. Yeah. I like the music, maybe just because it came out more recently. I like the music of Greatest Showman better than Grease.
I don't even know what I'm going to choose, to be honest. This is hard.
This is really hard. When I went to watch Greatest Showman, I was like, this looks so cheesy. Why are we even watching this? And I walked out of that movie going, this is so good. And I couldn't stop listening to that soundtrack for like weeks. And I still love that soundtrack. So, gosh, this is tough. I think that for me, I'm going to go with, I think I'm giving myself too many excuses. I'm going to go with Greatest Showman because that story is more relatable to me. Of that dad's plight, trying to like make a best path for his family, and just holding on to his dreams, but also like, he saw something, that he could create this like world of imagination, and just lived in this like beauty of seeing the potential in life. I think I relate more to that, at the core, like, and hanging on to his family at the core, versus Grease, which is like, hey, hot lady,
I got you
from the other side of the tracks. Hey, baby. And then, and then kind of following both of their stories a little bit, although it's a really entertaining movie.
Dang.
And I think the casting in Grease is amazing. So yeah, I'll go with Greatest Showman though, but I don't know if that's because it's just like all the bells and whistles are more modern, and I really dug the direction in that movie too. So yeah, I'm going to go with Greatest Showman.
Oh man, this is really hard for me because like I grew up like Grease was my jam. Like when I was a little kid, and they're lowering the engine into the Grease Lightning car, like I would get on my chair and like and pretend like it was a very, very meaningful movie to me. The songs, the costumes, the simplicity of the story, very easy to follow even if you're a young kid. It had all the makings there, and I even watched Grease 2, which was not great.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer. And so, man, it's very hard for me because when Greatest Showman came out, I was like, this is one of the greatest musical movies I've ever seen in my life. Like the set designs, the choreography, the songs, like every song is a banger. Yeah. And so it's so hard for me because like Grease and The Greatest Showman, it's not just a couple hit songs. Like almost every song is great, right? And so, yeah, this is so tough for me too. I don't just make it hard on my guest host. I make it hard on me as well. And it's crazy because we think a lot alike because we chose a lot of the same. But for me, I really think it has, and maybe it's recency bias. I don't know. You call it recency bias, but I think out of the two, The Greatest Showman is the better musical movie. The cast is incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
The set design, the message of the story, the costumes, the choreography, the songs, like everything lined up so perfectly. And in today's day and age, it's not easy to come out with a musical movie and have people love it. Actually, more or not, they don't love it because they're used to the classics. They're used to Grease, and all these other classics. And so to have something like The Greatest Showman, which when it came out in theaters, it wasn't received well. And then over time, while it was in theaters, it made almost $500 million. Yeah. And it kind of grew with word of mouth, and people were like, hey, this is actually really good. Like, you should watch this. Grease was an overnight success. And so I really think like The Greatest Showman speaks to people that aren't just musical people. And that is the power of that movie. My wife is not a musical person, but when she saw the movie, she was like, I love this movie because it's not singing just for singing's sake. The messages in the songs matter to the story. Yeah. And that's really why I think The Greatest Showman is the better of the two when it comes to The Greatest Showman versus Grease. So yeah, I agree. And I love The Greatest Showman and I love Grease. And this was really hard, but I think it really comes down to that. Man, it's a great musical. This is making me want to watch it
yeah,
again.
I'm surprised you didn't put like Wicked up there. Like that one's all like, as far as musical movies right now.
Yeah, but it's
all the rage.
It's not done, and it's a part 1 of a part 2.
Sure.
So a bit harder. Glad that you brought that up, because what is a part 1 versus a part 2 movie look like? And is it fair because you had a movie before to build on that? Well, my friends, let's decide between these two movies. The Dark Knight versus the Batman. Which is the GOAT Batman movie of these two?
I'm going to go with Dark Knight because I'm too much of a Christopher Nolan fan. I think that leans very heavily into my decision.
Right.
I think Matt Reeves did a great job with the Batman, better than I was expecting, to be honest.
I think he blew a lot of people away.
I think that even though Dark Knight is the second in the trilogy, the Christopher Nolan trilogy, I think as a standalone movie, it's incredible from beginning to end. And I don't necessarily need to watch Batman Begins or Batman. Right. Sorry, what's the Batman?
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. I don't necessarily need to watch those to like get the full effect of the Dark Knight.
Right.
I think
and you can't do that with the Batman because it's the only movie that exists right now.
And I think that the tipping scale too with the Dark Knight, just as I think it's a masterfully crafted film. The tipping point, though, for The Dark Knight for me is the Joker, and he is unbelievable. That character, that story, how he's portrayed in that movie, everything, even the all the attention that it got because he died during, before that movie came out. All of that just kind of, every time I watch that movie, I think about him dying,
Everyone does, I feel like.
Yeah. And I think it just
hard not to.
Yeah. It's hard to separate from that film. So yeah. And then the soundtrack in The Dark Knight is incredible. Hans Zimmer. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dark Knight on this one.
Okay. when the Batman came out, I think it really took the world by storm because people were so obsessed with the Dark Knight trilogy. They couldn't possibly imagine another movie even comparing or touching that.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they couldn't even imagine Robert Pattinson as Batman. Well, the movie came out and it showed people that you can still do Batman in a different way, and that Robert Pattinson was a great Batman for this iteration.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, bringing it down back to the detective level, having the voiceover of him narrating it, the darkness of it, this world, this Gotham, what it looks like, it really heightened this movie into new territories that we had not seen on film before in a Batman movie. And that made this movie very, very special.
Mm-hmm.
However, when The Dark Knight came out, people weren't as hot on Batman. Batman Begins was received really well, but it didn't really invigorate the audience like we thought it would. People go back now and they say, wow, that was a great Batman movie. I forgot because of how good Dark Knight is, and it overshadows the other two movies. But when Dark Knight came out, it was the beginning of the MCU. 2008, Iron Man just dropped. It was really a shift in superhero movies, in the box office, in general audiences in general. And the Dark Knight still had an uphill battle to climb.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just a foregone conclusion. So we forget that. And what Christopher Nolan was able to do with this movie, with the times that it lives in, mirroring the time that we lived in 2008 with, the crises that we were going through with Wall Street, with the housing crisis, with the juxtaposition of the different classes and the 1%, everything that we were dealing with at that time all culminated into this Batman movie and really made it feel like of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very special film, but I do have to agree with you because it has Heath Ledger as the Joker, which is not even arguably, it is the best villain on screen of all time. And you can fight me on this, but what Heath Ledger did with this character, no one will ever be able to emulate again. Not Joaquin Phoenix, not Barry Keoghan. No one will ever be able to measure up what Heath Ledger did for the Joker on the big screen.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I do believe that The Dark Knight is the better Batman movie than The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Nice. Yeah, I think like every time I think about The Dark Knight, I think it's just a great film. It's not a comic book film. It's just a great film.
You want to know I got these scars?
Yeah, you just happen to have this weird psycho that puts like clown makeup and this guy who dresses in a bat outfit, but it's just a great story and a well-crafted film. And everything about it.
And there's such great scenes. I mean, the scene in particular in Dark Knight that really speaks to the time that we were living in is when the two boats have to choose, the boats on the prisoners and then the boats with the citizens have to choose who are they going to blow up. That was just an extremely mirroring moment to our society that we live in, and also how we deem our institutions like the incarcerated and the prison systems and the middle class and the upper class. And it was just such a great moment to see in a movie that movie could have been taken and put in anywhere, not just in a comic book movie. And I think that's why that scene alone really separates The Dark Knight from any other superhero movie that we've seen thus far.
Yeah. That movie was just, it was riveting. It's like, it was so, I did not know, I could not, most movies you can see like, oh, okay, this is the part where blah, blah, blah is going to come to grips with, the toil and change his ways and become Batman or whatever. That movie, I was like, I could not know what twists and turns Christopher Nolan was going to take. And I think that's why I love him so much as a director. Same. Because most of his movies, like, I have no idea where we're going. And not in a bad way, but it just in a like, I'm here with you, man. Wherever this journey you're taking me, I'm here with you. But I cannot predict. It's not cookie cutter.
I agree. I agree. This was a hard one too.
Yeah.
Because I think the Batman is a very good movie, and I cannot wait to see what his Dark Knight, his second one, will look like.
Yeah.
All right. That is our segment, GOAT or...
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Nope. All right, guys. With that down, I wanted to get into this last topic. So, speaking of the Batman writer, Mattson Tomlin, the co-writer of the new movie, is hard at work on the Batman 2. But he still has his eyes on a Marvel movie that he is desperate to get made and get in contact with the director. And this comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Sorry, this comes to us from cosmicbook.news. They say Batman co-writer Mattson Tomlin has made it clear he wants to write Spider-Man 4, a direct continuation of the Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi era films. On X, Tomlin responded to fan calls for a new entry and even attempted to get the attention of Raimi himself. When one fan page declared, "Here's your money to write the script," Tomlin replied simply, "Trying!" ! Later, when pressed by another account about contacting Raimi, he doubled down with the same response, "Trying!" ! Tomlin elaborated on what kind of story interests him the most when it comes to Spider-Man 4. He said, "Honestly, right now, my main interest in this respect would be to write a Spider-Man 4 where Tobey's Spider-Man is juggling being a husband and a father. Spider-Man as a father is where I gravitate towards given the last 8 films. This approach would age Peter Parker into a more mature role, focusing less on teenage struggles and more on the balance between family responsibilities and the cost of heroism." So it seems like a big time comic book writer who has had success in the box office is really wanting to get a Spider-Man 4 off the ground and is trying desperately to get in contact with Sam Raimi to get this bad boy going, which he actually should be trying to get in touch with Sony, who holds the rights. But that's for another story. What do you think about Batman writer Mattson Tomlin's comments on Spider-Man 4? And what do you think about the likelihood that a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire back in the fold could get made?
I think that's a tough one. I think that it has been quite a, like, when did Spider-Man 3 come out? How many years ago was that?
2007.
Whew. So that's like...
but he was in a Spider-Man movie in 2021.
Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
Yeah, true. And if Tomlin would write the story that he's talking about, it would make sense that Tobey Maguire's older and
Dada?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of pieces to get worked out. And I think it's a lot more complicated than just like, hey, can I get in touch with Sam Raimi? It'd be like whether or not Sam Raimi would want to do it, whether or not Tobey Maguire would want to do it. Would they cast Kirsten Dunst as MJ again? You know, an older MJ? Would people want to see that?
You would have to.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like the rights, Sony has the rights for the film, but now Spider-Man's all tangled into, no pun intended, tangled in the MCU and what the MCU is doing. So I think it would be a shot in the dark. Like many planets would have to align for that to happen.
What do you think about the idea, though, of the Batman writer writing this movie?
What else has Tomlin done besides the Batman?
Mattson Tomlin has written the story of our lives. No, he has written. Let me see.
Help us, IMDb.
Mother Android.
Never saw that.
I've never heard of that. So he wrote the screenplay, I guess, for Berserker,
Okay.
which is based on the Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, the comics
But we have
come out
not
yet.
seen it.
Yeah.
He wrote Terminator Zero, the anime Terminator show, which was not received too well.
That was a
He wrote-
great show. Have you seen that? Oh wait, no. Is
tried.
that the one? Yeah, that's a great show.
Okay, I'll
that
try and
blew
get
me
back
away.
on it.
Yeah,
He wrote
it's
The
really
Sea
good.
Beast, another animated movie.
Didn't watch it.
He
Yeah.
wrote Mother Android on
Yeah.
Hulu, which did not get received well. He wrote Little Fish in 2020, which was received
Not
pretty
to-
well. It's a psychological
be-
drama.
Not to be confused with Big Fish.
Nope. And then he wrote Project Power, which was also not received well, with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt for
Okay.
Netflix.
Okay. So basically, he's not that good. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, his
I
track
don't have
record isn't the strongest, I would say,
but
but
he's
it
growing.
is strong
Yeah,
enough for
yeah, the Batman.
him to get hired on the Batman 2,
Sure.
hot off a hit movie. And so there is that. But
Yeah. I don't think he has there's enough of his career or proven track record that makes me go, oh, he would be an amazing writer on Spider-Man 4. You know, so yeah.
I like the stress right here.
So
No, I agree.
yeah.
I agree. He doesn't have a very true, proven track record.
Yeah.
But us fans have been dying for a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire for a very long time. If this is some way to get it off the ground or to gauge incitement from the fans, I hope that it does the work, because I really think his story wasn't completed. They did a little bit of it in No Way Home, but I really think Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man still has a story in itself to really complete the arc of that character. And what better way to do it than to show Spider-Man as a father, as a husband, juggling both responsibilities, which we have not seen on the big screen before. So I think that'd be great. I just don't know if Tobey Maguire would want to do it, because it's a huge commitment. I don't know if Sony wants to do it, because they already have other Spider-Man projects in the works.
Yeah.
So I don't know if things are going to line up to even be able to do that. But the fact that we're even talking about it in 2025, that a writer is wanting to get into it that already has a hot project. I don't know why my thing keeps sleeping. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Is it unplugged?
No. Oh, yeah. I don't have it in because I had battery, so I didn't want to overjuice it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible, but I would be very happy if they announce a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst returning and Sam Raimi. That would get me juice. It's just you have to lower the budget. Like these comic book movies are so expensive and big to do. And so if you announced it with, $150 million budget, that would be perfect. I think you would make a ton of money if you went that route, but it cannot go more than that. And I don't know if a filmmaker can do a Spider-Man movie on that small of a budget. Yes, for Spider-Man, 150 million is a smaller budget, but I don't know if they can do it, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, I think the expectations of Spider-Man he's just top tier, right? So for you to like dial that back and like, well, we're going to do a more indie Spider-Man movie, it would be hard to like pull off. I think Sam Raimi's the kind of director that can be really, he can produce a low budget movie for sure. That's the world he came from.
That's a good
Whether
point.
or not he wants to do it, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it's cool to kind of have that in the discussion, and for somebody, a writer who's out there in Hollywood making a name for himself, for him to throw that out there is kind of cool.
I agree. So let us know what you guys think. Do you think that a Spider-Man 4 is possible? Does it excite you that the Batman 2 writer, who is a little less proven in the game, is backing this movie and trying to get in contact with these people to get something going? Or is this just a pipe dream and most likely won't happen? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. All right, guys. That will do it for today.
Nice.
I wanted to get into, The Roque losing his mojo in the box office with The Smashing Machine only making $6 million and Taylor Swift's Showgirl beating The Rock's butt and making $33 million, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that we live in a world where The Rock does not excite the box office anymore, but that is the time that we live in, and we can get into that in another day. So I want to say thank you again, Roque, for being here. I love your takes. Nice. Do not doubt your skills because you got great takes, and I think it lends to a great conversation. And also, clearly with Goat or Nope, we think very much alike when it comes to a lot of the things that we love, and I think that's really cool. We don't always have to agree, but when we do agree because of happenstance, because that's how we feel, I love when that lines up. So I really love that segment, and I'm definitely going to come up with some more segments that we can get into. So hopefully you'll be willing to come and play again.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of fandom, right? It's like we care about these things so much. It's like really great to hear why, because that affirms for ourselves of like, yeah, oh yeah, that resonated with you too. So yeah, I love it. No, it's a great segment.
Awesome. All right, Roque, where can the good people find you?
YouTube. So at Roque Inc. Come find me. I do a show on Wednesdays called My Wednesday Comics, talking about the comics that I pick up each week and just more comic talk. And then I also do a show on YouTube called Master Study. I'm in the middle of it right now. Speaking of Spiderman,
ooh, I saw you working on it.
Spider-Man,
I saw you doing the window panes
cover right now, which has been awesome. Really
beautiful.
Fun. So I live streamed the art process. On that.
I saw you in the midst of it. I saw you doing the window panes.
Yeah. That's right. You popped up. That's right.
You were saying how exciting the window panes were. Yeah, I popped in there.
Yeah. So that's been really fun. And then if you're interested, I also have a Discord channel, and we just continue conversation in there too. And we were talking about we should do like some sort of watch party, something in Discord one of these days. So let's coordinate that. That would be fun.
Definitely. We got a lot of fun stuff to watch, so it won't be hard choosing something when we finally figure out a date and how we can do this. But that sounds awesome. Thank you again, my friend, for being here with us.
Thanks for having
me. You guys, like, subscribe, be a part of the conversation, share your thoughts, even if it differs. That is the best part about this, is everything hits us differently, and as long as we can be respectful, we can have a great conversation about it. And that is what this community is all about. So all I can say is be here for the conversations, geek out with us, and have a great rest of your week. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.
See you later.
It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. The Evan edition. It's the Evan edition.